Yes, thank you.
Citizens of New Atlantis were shocked today when an unidentified assailant left several dead at the Infinity Ltd building. The murders are believed to be linked to a new investigation where Drexler would have been accused of numerous violations, including murder for hire, unauthorized human trials, and corporate theft. Authorities representing the UC and the Freestar Collective have been dispatched to a consolidated mining station and the clinic. Both locations are believed to hold numerous victims. Drexler's motivation appears to be an attempt to launch a new product based off stolen information from a competitor. The details on the project itself have yet to be confirmed, but it's believed that Masako Imada, CEO of RUJIN Industries, may be involved. A series of communications between Drexler and Imada were discovered, where she encouraged Drexler to ignore approval guidelines for human trials. This has been David Barron for SSNN.
Impossible. You set me up. You expect me to believe you're simply an unwilling pawn in this? We'll find out soon enough. Assuming I know exactly how this situation came about, I have only a few things to say. Should Ularu run this company, the reputation of RUJIN Industries will change dramatically. Her unchecked tactics will be heavy-handed, involving murder without question of both the innocent and the guilty. RUJIN may gain financial success, but the percentage is not worth the real cost. But she's... It's true. Ularu's always put RUJIN first, and I can't argue that. Even with her aggressive tactics, she'll keep RUJIN at the top for decades to come. I encourage you to speak to the board members. We'll be having the meeting shortly to determine the fate of Infinity Ltd. And now I imagine myself as CEO. We must receive at least 50% of the vote. I trust you'll be able to sway them to make the right decisions. I hope... Remember to take any opportunity to push for acquiring Infinity. Don't rush it. Take your time. I hope the others will give you more insight.
I take it Masako wasn't as pleased to hear the SSNN broadcasts as she thought she'd be? I'm willing to bet that unhappy is an understatement. Masako can hide seething rage with the best of them. And now she's going to have some serious regrets about holding this upcoming board meeting. Which brings me back to you. Masako wants us to acquire Infinity Ltd, which is obviously not on my list of things to do. I need you to persuade the board members otherwise, and make sure they're on our side when I move to vote Masako out. You don't think I've weighed those possibilities? Actually, perhaps I was a little overzealous. Being able to pick and choose the talent as I see fit does have plenty of benefits, and I could hold the garnered good faith over Viv for years to come. All right, I'm convinced. But if this turns into a mistake, I'm holding you accountable. Just get the others on board. The internal neuroamp essentially guarantees success. As long as you get the results I'm looking for, I don't care how you do it. With Misako out of the way and the internal neuroamp finally ready for production, RUJIN Industries will be set for life. Or at least until I retire. Don't be absurd. If you cared anything about the success of this company, you'd know how important the internal neuroamp is. I admit you make a good point. Even with the shielding component, it's always a matter of time before someone replicates the work. And we absolutely cannot allow our own tech to be used against us. Should you propose to halt research, I will back you. But once the right questions can be answered, the internal neuroamp will be revisited. Now get out there. You have votes to secure. I'll be expecting results, Op. Don't screw this up.
So nervous. What did they say no?
What can Reliant Medical do for you? Please state the nature of your medical emergency. All right, let's examine you. Honestly, I'm surprised you're walking around like this. Nothing a little needle and thread can't fix. I won't lie. You're gonna feel this, but try your best to sit still. There, good as new, more or less. I'm sure we can get you fixed up with something. Try not to get hurt out there.
It's good to see you again.
Don't tell me. Masako wants to make sure I'm still on her side after SSNN dropped this media bomb on us? Because that's what I do. You want something in this business? You don't pull any punches. The only real question is just how persuasive she asked you to be. In this business, there's always a side. Normally, I'd back Masako, but after this news, I have to revisit all my notes under a completely different light. Now that she's been tied to Lucas, buying up Infinity Ltd only reinforces the narrative. It's gonna be a hard sell to make this look good. Well, now? Nothing, really. We'd still be saving jobs, offering a sense of security, but all that will be lost when it comes to the public. All they'll see is a hawk swooping in for the kill. The public is going to see Masako as the grand orchestrator of this mess that Infinity Ltd is now in. They'll believe she duped Lucas into performing desperate, inhumane acts, so she could later frame him and tank the company. Buying Infinity Ltd provides the motive that everyone will be looking for. Aren't you the flatterer? You're right, of course. I've certainly handled worse. Besides, I haven't had a good challenge like this in a while. The consumer is our lifeblood, so capturing their wants and desires, of course it's all I care about. I'm sure I wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't. Well, you have my attention. Now that's a delicate subject. But our competition really is upping their game. If we want to survive the coming onslaught, you're right. Ularu would be the logical choice. And what's your second point to consider? The possible backlash on tech like this is not lost on me. However, the internal neuroamp will define the next era of tech, with RUJIN at the forefront. It's not an opportunity you just walk away from. Not when you word it like that. But a product that can settle disputes or help broaden someone's point of view? Then you really have something that consumers will buy into. Well, it seems your talents really do stretch beyond just being an operative. Good talk. Maybe I'll even consult you on future endeavors. Thanks for the extra insight.
At least if you're here, you're not screwing up out there. Great, the bane of my department. If you need something, make it quick. Your best interests. As an operative, the fate of Infinity Ltd doesn't concern you. Regardless, I can't in good faith vote for an undertaking that would put enormous pressures on my own department. All right, I could use the entertainment. Tell me why Infinity is a good asset. Please. If you want to change my mind, you'll have to do better than that. When it comes to profit, I suppose all my arguments do fall short. It's easy to put a positive spin on this deal when you're not the one that has to deal with the consequences. I've heard enough. Too bad it wasn't as entertaining as I'd hoped. If you only had some real talent when it comes to convincing. Nice to know someone is. Everyone's too busy praising its completion to think about the dangers it could represent. First off, if I find out you used that device on me, I will tie you up in court on whatever charges I can conjure for the rest of your life. Second, that tech is one major human rights violation that no legal team wants to fight. I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's either severely delayed or collects dust in storage. Well, I'm both glad and surprised to hear the one person who has one say that. Masako's lucky to have you at her disposal, even if you are a continual thorn in my side. You may be the greatest asset, aside from the internal neuroamp, that RUJIN has. You aren't the first person to say that. There's definitely something to be said for Ularo. She's ruthless in ways that Masako isn't, and ruthlessness may be just what we need if we're to stay ahead of the competition, especially after this mess with Infinity. This exchange has been surprisingly insightful, but now I really do need to get back to my notes. I need to focus, if you don't mind.
If operation starts to bore you, let me know. You make a perfect lab rat for the R&D team.
You operatives really will wear anything. Just the person I wanted to see. I want to get all the details locked down for this meeting, and I believe you to be one of the best sources available. An efficient exchange, then. You've had the chance to encounter members of Infinity LTD throughout your assignments here. Do you think they're worth redemption? And why? Oh, I didn't mean in regards to Drexler's actions. More in the sense of, should a superior company like RUJIN make room for so many potentially lackluster employees? This is true. Infinity never had the financial resources to match our salary offers. Getting what few capable employees they have at half the salary we typically pay here could have major payoffs in the long run. Next question. What are your thoughts on SSNN's reports that Masako is allegedly connected to Lucas Drexler? A good, neutral answer. One that Alexis would be proud of. I find it difficult to believe that our CEO was truthfully involved in such endeavors. I look forward to seeing what Alexis can learn about the subject. Oh, Masako is quite capable of doing this, but to put it bluntly, it's not her style. First, she'd never directly involve herself. We let others take the fall in this business. Second, it's too complex. Masako prefers elegant simplicity, which is why I admire her. Third, Masako isn't a killer and believes casualties are bad for business. Agreed. Even if she wasn't the true mole, a mole was still able to infiltrate the corporation. She's also the one who pushed to have Dalton as head of security, an obvious failing. I appreciate the insight. I suppose I should ask if there's anything I can do for you, considering how helpful you've been. It's only dangerous to those who can't afford one, hence the added motivation that will bolster sales. I think we all know how averse I am to chaos. Finances are my forte, so you make a good point. Our competition has yet to truly master neuroamps, but the possibility is there. It's a risk I am unwilling to take. At this time. This has been rather enlightening for me. I appreciate the time. Excuse me. I have a lot of data to analyze.
This meeting should prove to be very interesting, especially after that bomb SSNN dropped in their last broadcast. I assume Masako briefed you on her preferred outcome. That blasted tech. If it were up to me, I'd have shut down Project Dominion a long time ago. I knew it was a grave security risk, and look what happened. You read my mind. Let's just hope Masako and the others see it that way. Plus, if we vote to acquire Infinity LTD, we're about to add a significant workload onto my team. The last thing I want to deal with are any more incidents this new neuroamp might cause. Well, the timing could be better, but I don't feel strongly one way or another about the acquisition. We've gone through our fair share in the past, and this one would be no different. If Masako wishes to bring Infinity into the fold, I will not stand against it. I hate to agree, but you're right. And I'm sure Masako will understand my reasoning. You would side against her after everything we've been through? I can't shake this feeling that I too have doubts. Perhaps if you present your argument, I might better be able to understand my own thoughts on the matter. You'll have to do better than that. Not that it was a huge concern, but it would be nice to be rid of the shadow it's left. I suppose I do have reason to. I owe Masako a great debt for my success in life. It pains me to admit you're right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to make sure I'm prepared for this meeting.
Ooh, look at that. Your surgical wound's healing like a dream. And how's my favorite patient doing? Not seeing any temporal memory flashes or losing time, I hope. That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. One step closer to seeing market approval. Genevieve is going to be so excited. So, tell me what you think of the neuroamp. I hope you're not actually suggesting that the technology I spent years working on and perfecting never sees the light of day. This is groundbreaking work. My life's work. Fine, fine. Make your case. There's always data against something, no matter how innocuous. The moral violations do start to add up. Well, this conversation's made me feel like a proper monster. But you're right. In a perfect world, tech like this is used for good. But this world is far from perfect. It is. It really is. For years, my only focus has been, is this possible? And then, how do I make it work? I never stopped to consider if it was right, or what it would mean. I guess it'll be up to a vote either way. It's not on the meeting agenda, so I assume you'll bring it up yourself? We just have to hope the others will see reason. So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity Ltd be? That's what I'm hoping for. They may be the underdog, but that doesn't mean they don't have a brilliant mind or two. I know Masako will be pushing for the acquisition. I still can't get over everything that's happening, but you're right. Maybe a change of leadership is needed in order to prevent this from happening again. And I have no doubt that Ularu would keep my department fully funded. Well, this has certainly been the most interesting conversation of my day. All we can do now is look forward to the meeting, right? See you in there.
You're looking interesting today.
To start this meeting, let me just say that the SSNN allegations are completely false.
And you expect us to just believe that?
If they're false, how did this happen?
I'll be ordering a full investigation, but I have my suspicions, which I'll address once this meeting has concluded. Until then, I'm still CEO, and we'll be moving forward with this meeting to acquire Infinity Ltd.
Do you really think we want a potential criminal? One suspected of being the actual mole here, leading a crucial meeting like this? In fact, I propose we remove Masako as CEO altogether, and nominate myself to take her place.
You can't be serious.
As much as it pains me to say it, I second the motion. My apologies, Masako, but we've failed here. Perhaps new leadership is what's needed moving forward.
Dalton, you can't seriously believe that.
Agreed. I initially believed we could pull through this, but I think a fresh perspective is necessary to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Any arguments against?
Yes, on the fact that I'm innocent and completely capable of doing my job.
Let's leave it up to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I had a feeling this would go my way.
Traitors. All of you.
Well, there you have it. And now, since you're no longer a part of this board, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
This isn't over. To think I had high hopes for you.
Now, Masako. Don't go taking out your shortcomings on our operative here.
Enough with your attitude, Ularu. I don't care what anyone says or what the evidence is. I know you're behind this. And I'll prove it, no matter how long it takes.
Good thing you're going to have plenty of time on your hands, then. Security. Why don't you escort Masako to her office? I'm sure law enforcement will be looking for her soon anyway. Now, let's get back to business. So, any arguments for the acquisition?
This acquisition is sure to have its financial pitfalls, but as a wise person pointed out, it would have major payoffs in the future. Plus, with their current situation, Infinity Ltd will be more affordable than ever.
I think the timing could work. Masako's removal and our stepping in could be seen as an act of apology.
Arguments against?
After the series of security issues we've had lately, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the acquisition is a bad idea. This simply is not the time.
All right. All in favor of acquiring Infinity Ltd?
Aye.
Excellent. Not bad for my first meeting. Does anyone have anything else to bring to the table before we break? I'm losing patience. And if you could tell the board your reasons?
Says the one person who has one.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's right. Regardless of the pros, the cons are too morally and ethically irresponsible to move forward with.
I must agree. We can't go through with production on technology like this until certain safeties can be guaranteed.
I too have my concerns, which is why I'm more than happy to put this to a vote. All in favor of shelving the internal neuroamp?
Aye.
Nay.
Excellent. Vina, start prepping Project Dominion for deep storage. Should a proper proposal on handling the complexities around the internal neuroamp ever grace my desk, we can revisit. I almost hate to ask now, but are there any other matters to bring forth? No? Good. Meeting adjourned.
If only there were more hours in the day.
No more Masako as CEO. Well done. Of course, we're now acquiring Infinity Ltd, but I'll leave that mess for the others to handle. You've proven yourself to be quite the asset here at RUJIN. For me especially. I will see to it that Linden increases your assignment payout. It takes guts for someone in your position to go up against the CEO. And Masako never saw it coming. She'll be tied up in court disputing the evidence against her. It's sure to be a long, drawn-out ordeal. I hope Alexis is ready for some late nights. But I do good work. She'll be found guilty and spend the rest of her life in jail. That attitude must be why we work so well together. Now, as promised, I have your bonus. I'm sure you'll find it adequate for all you've done. I'm also promoting you to senior operative. You've certainly proven yourself capable enough. As a senior op, you now have a personal office, mission board access, and you're free to work on your own time. The mission board will hold any available assignments, although I may still notify you should I require your more specific talents. Oh, and you'll be happy to know, no more docks in pay. I only care about the end result, not the methods. Any questions? It's basically an automated handler. Think of it as your personal kiosk that lets you pick and choose your own assignments. On the operations floor, of course. The majority of them, at least. Trust me, it's better this way. With Masako gone, penalties are a thing of the past. Results are all that matter. Besides, the benefits typically outweigh the cost of any cleanup. In that case, I suggest you get familiar with the mission board before you leave today. I'll admit, you helped me pull off a pretty big win. So, if you want to take some time off, I get it. Just don't forget, you still have a job that I expect you to do.